打邊爐最緊要係個爐，做題目最緊要係條題目啊！咁多位，
不如今晚打邊爐咯。
2020年第8條就係講人對貓敏感嘅。有啲人呢，當啲貓喺附近啊，就會開始咳嗽啦，同埋打乞嗤嘅。咁呢個不受歡迎嘅免疫反應呢，我哋就稱之為過敏啦，或者敏感啦，係由貓嘅唾液腺同埋皮脂腺所分泌嘅蛋白 X 咧所引起嘅。咁當啲貓啦去舐自己嘅身體啦，啲蛋白 X 咧就會散佈喺佢貓毛上面啦。當啲貓啦喺你間屋嗰度周圍行啦，揩下你張梳化啊，揩下你張凳啊，趴喺你張台度啊，揩下你啲衫你啲褲咧，蛋白 X 亦都會隨住時間而積聚喺佢嘅生活環境當中嘅。咁我哋入題目咯。喺近期嘅研究所顯示咧，喺貓糧入面加入針對蛋白 X 嘅抗體，即係抗體 X 咧，係能夠減少到貓毛上面嘅游離蛋白 X 嘅份量嘅。咁第一 part 就問我哋啦，抗體 X 點解能夠減低到喺貓毛上面嘅游離蛋白 X 嘅份量呢？咁呢條題目咧，其實就係考緊我哋有關於特異性防禦機制啦，尤其是係抗原同埋抗體嘅互動啦。咁留意下啦，今次嘅抗體咧唔係俾人類去用嘅，係餵俾隻貓食嘅。而呢個抗體 X 發揮作用嘅地方咧，係喺貓個口入面。咁喺個貓嘅唾液腺就分泌咗呢啲游離蛋白啦，黃色嘅波波啦。而家啦喺個貓糧入面就有呢個抗體 X 咯。咁究竟佢係點樣去對付呢啲游離蛋白 X 呢？咁我哋喺書本有學過嘅，抗體咧要對付啲病原體有好多款方法點樣去分解咗佢啦，點樣去迎襲呢個病原體啦，同埋中和毒素嘅。咁但係留意下，我哋唔能夠依書直說啊嘛，因為呢啲抗體 X 唔係俾我哋去用，亦都唔係真係打啲病菌噶嘛，係對付翻隻貓自己所產生嘅游離蛋白 X。所以當我哋喺啲貓糧入面加入呢個抗體 X 嘅時候，其實就係做緊一個迎襲嘅作用。喺個口腔入面嘅游離蛋白 X 就會俾個抗體去黐埋咗佢。喺呢個口腔入面嘅游離蛋白 X 咧，就會附着咗喺呢個抗體 X 上面，形成咗一個結塊，或者我哋講嘅迎襲啦。咁第一部分我哋講完呢個抗體 X 嘅功能之後呢，我哋去到第二部分就要解釋下一啲生物嘅現象咯。原來貓嘅口水咧係不含蛋白酶嘅，咁我哋就要解釋下呢個現象對於透過抗體 X 去減低游離蛋白 X 嘅呢個方法取得成效嘅重要性。頭先我哋講喺個貓糧入面加入抗體 X 就能夠將個游離蛋白 X 做一個迎襲嘅作用，係話啦，佢喺個貓嘅口腔入面已經結成好大嚿啦，從而咧就能夠減低到佢對個人產生過敏反應嘅機會啦。咁呢條題目咧就係考緊我哋有關於抗體 X 啦，同埋蛋白酶嘅一啲功能同埋特質啦。抗體嘅特性就係由蛋白質所造成嘅，而蛋白酶嘅功能咧就能夠加速去拆解蛋白質嘅分解代謝。咁呢條題目又係問緊重要性啊嘛。咁我哋就要用翻直線抽擊答題法啦。我哋而家要答嘅重點係貓嘅口水入面係冇蛋白酶，所以啦，我哋加咗喺個貓糧入面嘅抗體 X 係唔會俾貓嘅口水所去拆解嘅。呢一個就係貓嘅口水入面冇蛋白酶嘅重要性，係令到呢一個方法賴以成功嘅原因。所以我哋直線抽擊去答嘅呢，就係殘留喺個貓口腔入面嘅貓糧嘅抗體 X 係唔會被消化，因此啦就能夠減低到喺個口水入面游離蛋白 X 嘅份量啦。而點解我要提翻大家直線抽擊答題法呢？因為我哋需要講喺口水入面冇蛋白酶嘅好處，而唔係走去講如果嗰啲口水係有蛋白酶，拆解咗抗體 X 之後有咩嘅結果。最怕大家咧就兜圈走去答問題啊！人哋就問呢，點解貓嘅口水入面冇蛋白酶就令到呢個方法成功啊？咁你就同我講啦，如果貓嘅口水入面係有蛋白酶呢，就會拆解咗個抗體 X 啦，所以呢個方法咧就會失敗啦。你聽得出個分別嗎？人哋係問你呢個方法點樣令你成功，而唔係話你做唔到呢一樣嘢就導致你嘅失敗，係完全兩個相反方向嘅答法嚟嘅。 唔好以為自己答緊題目啊！而家我係問緊你，食咗飯點解會令你飽？係因為食咗飯之後會脹脹咗你個胃，你咪有飽嘅感覺咯。而唔係你就可以講啊嘛，問我點解食飯會飽，我就答啦。如果你唔食飯，你個胃就會好細個，你就會有餓嘅感覺啦。錯，你都唔係答緊問題，直線抽擊啊！咁多位都知我好長氣嘅。而家我哋落 part B 啦。頭先我哋啱啱講完抗體 X 嘅功能啦，同埋佢嘅重要性啦。而家啦，我哋有一個研究咯。我哋咧就用一啲普通嘅貓糧去餵啲貓餵2個禮拜，然後再用有抗體 X 嘅貓糧咧，再餵啲貓10個禮拜。而家呢個棒形圖咧就顯示翻啦，喺研究期間喺個貓毛上面嘅游離蛋白 X 嘅份量啦。咁你見到由第1個禮拜去到第12個禮拜啦。而 Y-axis 咧就係喺每一克嘅貓毛上面有幾多嘅游離蛋白 X 啦。咁你見得到啦，當初咧就係呢一個水平啦，之後啦有高有低，有高有低嘅。你睇下第一部分咧，問我哋咩咯？研究員 A 咧就認為啦，抗體 X 咧係有效去減少貓毛上面嘅游離蛋白 X 嘅量嘅。但係啦，研究員 B 咧就認為抗體 X 咧係未能夠有效去減少貓毛上面嘅游離蛋白 X 嘅量。咁根據翻個棒形圖，我哋就要提供一個理由去支持研究員 A 嘅講法，亦都要提供另一個理由去支持研究員 B 嘅睇法啦。咁呢個題目咧就係考翻我哋全視技能啦，亦都係直線抽擊啦。見到個圖表講乜嘢，我哋就講翻乜嘢。所以今次嘅題目好簡單，就係讓數據去說話。而點樣讓數據去說話呢？我哋首先就要定義下何謂有效啦。咁其實我哋點樣睇得出有效或者冇效呢？又係4個字啦，期望管理。原來期望管理唔係淨係用喺生涯規劃噶，喺一個數據上面都有得睇得到噶。你就問翻研究員 A 啦，嗱，咩叫有效先？佢就同你講啦，有效減少啊嘛，少咗咪叫有效咯。食普通貓糧就咁高嘅，食咗有抗體 X 嘅貓糧係咪低咗啊？由紅色線落綠色線，嗱，喺食咗有抗體嘅貓糧，即使呢條巴係好高，高得嚟都高唔過食正常貓糧嘅，係咪跌咗啊？係跌咗咪成功咯。所以對於研究員 A 嘅說法呢，我哋要揾資料支持佢，好簡單嘅啫，就係透過棒形圖嘅數據顯示，蛋白 X 有下降嘅趨勢，係有減少過噶嘛？你有冇得反駁佢啊？有冇跌過啊？有啊，去到第11個禮拜跌到落最低又有，即使係最高嘅第4個禮拜都係低過你，咁我咪啱咯。而翻去研究員 B 咯，咩叫有效啊？點解你話佢冇效啊？明明跌咗喎。佢就同你講啦，嗱，係跌咗嘅，但係你睇下條巴，有高有低，有高有低，有高有低，有高有低喎。喂，當中係有一個波動喎。咁原來我哋觀察到喺個貓毛上面嘅游離蛋白 X 係顯示咗一個高低起伏嘅波動喎。尤其是係由第5個禮拜去到第10個禮拜。咁可能大家會問㗎，喂，我嘅答案係咩？一定要講由第5個禮拜去到第10個禮拜啊？唔係。你由第5個禮拜講到第11個禮拜又得，由第3個禮拜講到第11個禮拜又得，你由第5個禮拜講到第12個禮拜又得。因為問題就係講緊，無論邊一個禮拜都好，佢嘅數據都係有一個高低起伏。會問下研究員 B， 喂，喺你心目中乜嘢叫有效啊？你嘅期望管理係乜嘢啊？研究員 B 就會答你啦，我唔係要低咗啊，我係要 keep 住都咁低啊。呢啲先叫做有效啊嘛。對於研究員 A， 佢需要嘅係一個絕對性嘅比較，係咪跌咗啊？跌咗咪跌咗咯，你同我拗咩啫？而研究員 B 所追求嘅有效係一個持續性嘅有效。你餵隻貓食呢個抗體 X 嘅貓糧，你都係想冇過敏反應啫。但係你諗下啦，時高時低，時高時低，你嘅持續性咁低，而自不然啦，嗰啲游離蛋白 X。喺個貓毛上面啦，喺佢嘅生存環境上面啦，都仍然會積聚噶嘛，對啲人仍然都有機會產生過敏咯。呢啲咪叫冇效咯？你識唔識嘢噶？你明白到咩叫期望管理咯？原來做實驗都有關係噶。咁講完第一部分啦，死啦，公說公有理，婆說婆有理。第二部分會問我哋乜嘢呢？佢會問我哋啦，點樣修改呢一個科學探究？去確認貓糧入面嘅抗體 X 係真係能夠有效咁減少貓毛上面嘅游離蛋白 X 呢？咁呢條題目呢，就考下我哋幾樣嘢嘅。第一個啦，就係對於一個實驗嘅結果，佢有啲咩可能性嘅結果呢？ 第二啦，就係考翻 SBA 嘅技巧啦。究竟我哋要做啲乜嘢去改變個科學探究呢？而第二樣考我哋嘅呢，就係今年嘅第5條呢，都有考到我哋嘅。當我哋做一個科學探究嘅時候，我哋比較緊啲乜嘢呢？我哋觀察緊啲乜嘢呢？而家我哋要觀察嘅就係何謂有效啊嘛。咁所以啦，我哋點樣睇得出為之有效？點樣睇得出為之冇效呢？咁我哋先睇下啦，做啲乜嘢先？首先啊，我哋可以延長個研究時間啦。然後啦，重複研究，增加貓糧入面抗體 X 嘅份量啦，用統計嘅方法去分析數據啦。重複嘅探究，但係啦，增加樣本嘅數量啦，透過餵飼普通嘅貓糧，同埋經過煮沸咗嘅抗體 X 嘅貓糧去作出一個對照啦。最後啦，就係重複研究，但係去使用翻唔同種類嘅貓啦。咁其實各自我哋想去觀察嘅係啲乜嘢呢？一啦，透過延長研究時間呢，係可以確認翻係咪有一個持續性嘅下降趨勢。頭先我哋未講嘅研究員 A 同研究員 B， 其實佢哋嘅期望管理就係講緊，喂，係有冇一個即時性嘅變化，又或者有冇一個持續性嘅變化？第二啦，增加貓糧抗體 X 嘅份量，就係去確認一下貓毛上面嘅游離蛋白 X 嘅量有冇一個較大嘅跌幅。嗱，頭先嘅貓糧呢，就可能加得太少抗體 X 啦。嗱，而家我加多啲。嗱，你話有效噶嘛？咁根據翻抗體同埋抗原嘅反應啦，多嘅抗體係咪越容易去迎襲咗嗰啲游離蛋白 X 啊？第三啦，用統計嘅方法去分析數據，就係確認下差別係咪咁顯著啦。跟住啦，就增加樣本數量，即係用多啲貓啊。當初可能用10隻貓，而家我用100隻貓。而啦，就觀察下個游離蛋白 X 嘅改變有冇一個類似嘅趨勢或者一個模式啦。話唔定你用得嗰10隻貓呢，可能有啲貓佢個口水入面係零舍多游離蛋白 X 嘅呢。咁而家啦，我就俾100隻你，俾1000隻你。咁我哋抽翻個平均值，會唔會有多啲嘢睇呢？跟住啦，就係餵飼翻普通嘅貓糧啦，同埋含有經煮沸咗嘅抗體 X 嘅貓糧去做個對照啦，去確認下貓毛上面嘅游離蛋白 X 係咪真係仍然下降咗，從而去比較翻個實驗組嘅結果。咁啊，因為啦，蛋白質經過煮沸嘅話，佢會變性噶嘛，咧就確認翻有抗體 X 嘅貓糧，同埋即使有抗體 X 但係煮沸咗嘅貓糧，究竟有冇一個大嘅變化？如果你見得到啦，煮沸咗嘅抗體 X 嘅貓糧，原來啦，即使為咗俾隻貓食呢，喺個貓嘅口水入面會係有好多嘅游離蛋白 X 嘅。咁我哋用呢一個嚟做比較，咁我哋就會知得到抗體 X 係咪有古怪啦。去到最後尾呢，就使用不同種類嘅貓群啦，去確認下某一種類型嘅貓呢，佢貓毛上面嘅游離蛋白 X 嘅量有冇一個較大嘅跌幅。咁我哋就知得到啦，原來抗體 X 係有用，不過呢係對英國短毛貓有用，去對緬因貓呢就冇用啦。去到最後一部分啦，就係根據翻呢一題嘅引言嘅資料啦，去提出啦呢一種降低對貓過敏嘅方法嘅2個局限啦。咁呢條題目啦，自不然呢就考我哋究竟啦游離蛋白 X 嘅來源係乜嘢啦，同埋睇清楚題目啦。打邊爐最緊要係個爐。做題目最緊要係條題目啊！咁多位，咁不厭其煩啦，都要講多次條題目啦。原來啦，呢啲蛋白 X 嘅來源係由貓嘅唾液腺同埋皮脂腺所分泌出嚟嘅。而當隻貓去舐自己個身，呢個蛋白 X 咧就會散播喺個貓毛上面啦。而呢啲蛋白 X 咧，亦都會隨住時間積聚咗喺佢嘅生活環境當中嘅。可以透過餵食有抗體 X 嘅貓糧，抗體 X 佢工作嘅地方係個口啫嘛。簡單啲嚟講，你都只係針對緊喺個貓個口入面啫。但係原來皮脂腺都會去分泌游離蛋白 X 噶嘛。咁即係話啦，你淨係針對翻喺個口腔入面發生嘅事。喺個皮膚皮脂腺產生嘅游離蛋白 X 咧，其實你係好難去控制得到嘅。可能你會問啦，唔係，梁 Sir， 隻貓咧會舐自己噶嘛？咁你餵咗啲貓糧俾佢食咯，喺個口入面嘅抗體 X 黐住咗喺個唾液腺產生嘅游離蛋白 X， 咁仲有冇抗體 X 去黐住皮脂腺所產生嘅游離蛋白 X 咧？我唔夠膽話講冇。 但係佢個量一定冇咁多，因為個抗體 X 喺個口腔打完仗之後，佢個口腔入面都已經凝集咗嗰啲游離蛋白 X 啦，去到個皮脂腺仲有冇咁多呢？又或者啦，蛋白 X 1、2、3，又或者蛋白 X 其實會喺個環境上面積聚嘅，咁佢嘅數量啦，最終都會達至一個引發不受歡迎嘅免疫反應嘅臨界水平，所以到頭來咧都係有機會引致一個過敏嘅反應嘅。好，跟住啦，又嚟到一點出發啦。今次嘅題目咧就講過敏嘅，咁啊講兩樣嘢啦，一個咧就係特異性防禦機制，另一個就係考科學探究啦。特異性防禦機制唔講咁多啦，就係講抗體同埋佢嘅功能啦。我想集中講多些少科學探究，先講3個 variables， 講到口臭噶啦 ，IVDVCV 分得清未啊？咁多位，今次嘅 IVDVCV 係乜嘢呢？ IV 我話俾你聽，就係嘢食嘅種類啦。正常嘅貓糧同埋有抗體 X 嘅貓糧啦，咁 DV 係乜嘢呢？你話俾我聽啦。而今次嘅實驗嘅 CV 呢，除咗貓嘅種類啦、貓嘅大細啦、貓嘅年紀之外啦，仲有冇其他嘅 CV 呢？亦都喺留言區留下你嘅答案啦。但經過思考呢，你對呢條題目嘅印象就會更加深刻啦。對於 IVDVCV 你都冇咁驚啦。咁多位嘅題目呢，就係反其道而行啦，先俾咗個結論你，再要你分析數據。咁下次嘅題型變奏啦，自不然叫你分析咗數據，再得出結論咯。跟住呢條題目呢，再有問嘅就係改良實驗啦。過往都有好多題目呢係有關實驗或者改良實驗或者去設計嘅實驗嘅。今次啦，我哋要改良實驗啊，有啲咩去諗呢？就係持續嘅時間啦、化學物嘅份量啦、化學物嘅特性啦、測試嘅方法啦。嗱，呢一樣嘢咧，我想提下大家啦。以前喺初中大家都有學過噶，我哋學酸同鹼嗰課咧，我哋就學 pH paper 啲酸鹼嘅顯示劑啦，係咪？紅藍色嘅石蕊試紙啦，呢一啲 pH paper 佢有佢嘅限制噶嘛。如果我攞嚟去測試個可樂或者測試個生抽嗰啲豉油嘅 pH 值嘅，喂，可樂黑咪媽，生抽黑咪媽個，加咗嗰啲通用試劑，又係黑色一撇，你睇唔到個顏色變化，甚至睇唔出啲顏色嘅，因為佢就係黑色啫嘛。咁所以我哋就學其他嘅測試方法，例如 pH meter 啊嘛，佢直接俾個數字你啦，哦 pH 咧就係7.77或者8.11，呢個咧就係有關於測試方法嘅改變。又或者啦，樣本嘅數量啦，用多啲貓，用少啲貓啦，又或者實驗嘅對象啦，今次用英短，下次用美短，下次用緬因貓，下次用暹羅貓。咦，原來唔同貓咧，佢哋個口水入面或者個皮脂腺所分泌嘅游離蛋白咧係唔同噶喎。誒，我哋咪學多咗一樣嘢咯。Question 8 is about the allergy to the cats. Some people suffer from sneezing and coughing when there are cats nearby. This unwanted immune response are caused by the protein X secreted by cats' salivary and sebaceous glands. When the cats lick their body surface, this protein X is spread to their hair, and protein X can also accumulate in their living environment over time. So you can see that when the cats lick their body surface, and when they are walking around in the house, so sitting on the sofa, lying down on your computer table, and then walking nearby to you, so they will just walk very close to you. Therefore, the protein X can accumulate on your clothes as well. So for part A, recent research shows that the amount of free protein X on cat's hair can be reduced by adding antibodies against protein X, which is called anti-X to the cat food. So for part 1, why can anti-X reduce the amount of free protein X on cat's hair? In this question is checking us the concept of the specific defense mechanism, especially the antigen-antibody interaction. So what do we learn in the book is that how do antibodies act against the pathogens or the toxins. But one thing I would like to remind is that this antigen, this antibody is not acting, so this antibody is not for us, it's for the cats because we put the anti-X in the cat food. Therefore, the antibody, they are working in the mouth cavity of the cats. So what's the function is that the antibody, which is the anti-X, can bind to the protein X to form clumps, or we call it agglutination. So the free protein X, they will gather together and reduce the effect on human being. So after we talk about the functions of the anti-X, we talk about the importance of the biological phenomenon. For part 2, there are no protease in the saliva of the cats. So we need to explain why this phenomenon is important for the success of this method. What is the method? We add the antibody against the protein X, which is the anti-X, to the cat food in order to reduce the free protein X. This question is checking us the concept about the nature of the antibody, which is made up of protein, and the functions of the protease is to speed up the breakdown of the proteins, which is the catabolism. And I want to remind you the thinking logic, which is the straight to the point. We should mention the importance or the benefit of not digesting the antibodies against the protein X, which is the anti-X directly, which is the importance to this method of the lack of the protease in the saliva, this biological phenomenon. So we can mention that the anti-X in the food debris left the mouth cavity of the cats will not be digested. As a result, it can reduce the amount of free protein X in the saliva, which is the benefit or the importance to this method for not digesting the antibody against the protein X, but not talking about the consequence of digesting the antibodies against the protein X. And some of the students, they misunderstood the question and cannot answer the question straight to the point. They may think like this: oh, the question, it says that there are no protease in the saliva of the cats. The importance is that, imagine, what if the anti-X is digested by the protease in the saliva? So there will be not enough, insufficient amount of anti-X to agglutinate the free protein X in the mouth cavity of the cat. Therefore, this method will not be successful. No, you are not answering the questions, ladies and gentlemen. So you need to directly tell me that now there is no protease in the saliva. Therefore, the anti-X will not be digested. Therefore, the anti-X, this antibody, can act against the free protein X in the mouth cavity of the cats. So after we talk about the functions of the anti-X and the importance of a certain biological phenomenon, we move on to part B. In the research, a group of domestic cats were fed with the normal cat food for 2 weeks, week 1, week 2, and followed by the cat food containing anti-X for 10 weeks, from week 3 to week 12. So the amount of free protein found on their hair during the research is shown in the bar chart below. You can see that from week 1 to week 12, and the y-axis it shows the amount of free protein X per 1 gram of the hair. In part 1, research team member A thought anti-X was effective in reducing the amount of free protein X on cat's hair, while team member B thought that anti-X was not effective. Based on the bar chart, give one reason to support team member A and another reason to support team member B. So this question, it checks the stylistic skills, which is also the straight to the point. We need to draw the conclusion based on the data directly. And the critical concept is that, how do we define effective? It's all about the expectation management. You know that expectation management is not only for the career and life planning, but also for the scientific investigation. You ask team member A, why do you think that the anti-X was effective in reducing the amount of free protein X on cat's hair? So he or she will tell you that, you see, when we are feeding the cat with the normal food, so you can see the red line, the level of the free protein X is that high. However, when we are feeding the cats with the food containing anti-X, so you see the green line, all the bars, it shows that a lower level of. So you see that there is a decreasing trend or a drop in the amount of protein X found in the cat's hair. It's all about the immediate effect. You can see that after 1 week, I can see the results directly. It drops, right? And then when we ask the team member B, Why do you think that the anti-X was not effective? So he or she will provide you another perspective to talk about the expectation management. What we can see from the bar chart is that, yes, in week 3, we can see there is a drop of the free protein X in the hair, but you can also see the fluctuation of the comparable levels, especially from week 5 to week 10. So you may ask that, oh, Mr. Leung, do I really need to follow the answer to talk about from week 5 to week 10? Not really. You can say that all the data show the fluctuations of the comparable level from week 3 to week 12. From week 5 to week 11 is also okay, because for the whole trend, we can see that it's really fluctuating. Does he or she look for, expect it should be a sustainable effect? We should see that, you say that anti-X is effective. Okay, what does it mean effective? Starting from week 3, I expect that every week, the level should be lower and lower. So it's really the expectation for me, for these drugs, is really effective because I want to help the human being, the customer, to avoid the allergies situation, right? So after we talk about the expectation management, so we see that, oh my god, we can draw two different or even opposite conclusions based on the same data. So for part 2, how would you modify the research to confirm whether the anti-X in cat food is really effective in reducing the amount of free protein X on cat's hair? In this question, it checks us that, can you state the possible result? That means the expectations. Critical skills are, what should we do to modify the research? And what should we to observe to confirm the anti-X is effective in reducing the amount of free protein X on the cat's hair? It is a very similar question in the question 5 of 2020. So let's take a look. What should we do? We can repeat the experiment to conduct the research for a longer time. We conduct the research with a higher dose of the anti-X in the cat food. We conduct the statistical analysis of the data. We conduct the research with a greater sample size. We set up a control with the normal food or the boiled anti-X in the cat food. Or we conduct the research with groups of different types of cats. So what do we observe and what is the possible result? What is our expectation? So for the first part, we conduct the research for a longer time to check if the decreasing trend will really continue, or if the fluctuation will continue. We really recall the idea of the liberal studies, the timeliness. Is it an immediate effect or a sustainable effect? And then we conduct the research with a higher dose of the anti-X in the cat food to check if there will be a greater decrease in the amount of the free protein X on cat's hair. Because more anti-X, if they are really acting on the free protein X, so that's why there will be more agglutination, and then most of the protein X will be agglutinate, so there will be lower level of the protein X in the saliva, and then there will be less protein X on cat's hair. And then we conduct the statistical analysis on the data to check if the difference shown is significant or not. We can check the data to check that is there any correlation, or to check there is really the cause and effect relationship. Or we can conduct the research with a greater sampling size. That means we use more cats. So before that, we may just use 10 cats, and now we are using 100 cats. To check if a similar trend or pattern in the change of the amount of protein X will be observed. So for example, if we only use 10 cats, so maybe some cats, they can secrete more protein X in the saliva. So that's why it will really affect the result. So we use more sampling size to reduce the sampling error to get an accurate result. And we set up a control with the normal food or boiled anti-X in cat food to check if there is still a decrease in the amount of free protein X on hair, to compare the result with the experimental group. So the idea is that what if we really boil the anti-X, because the antibodies, they are made up of protein, so the anti-X will be denatured. So if we see that, after we really boil the anti-X and then we find that the free protein X on the hair is really high level, so we can see that there must be something strange. So we can see the importance of the anti-X, right? And finally, we conduct the research with groups of different types of cats to check if there will be a greater decrease in the amount of free protein X on cat's hair for certain types of the cats. So for example, we can use the British short hair cats, and then we use the American short hair cats to see the difference, because maybe different types of cat can secrete different amount of the free protein X in the saliva. And for part C, based on the information in the introductory paragraph of this question, suggests two limitations of this approach to reducing the allergies caused by the cats. This question it checks out the concept about the source of the free protein X, and all the information they are provided in the introductory paragraph. Therefore, read the question carefully. The allergies are caused by the protein X secreted by cat's salivary and the sebaceous glands. When the cats lick their body surface, this protein X is spread to their hair. And protein X can accumulate in the living environment over time. So we can see that the anti-X can only reduce the amount of protein X in the saliva, but not that produced by the sebaceous glands. And the free protein X can accumulate in the environment. And the second limitation is that protein X can accumulate in the environment. Not only mentioned by the question, it also follows the concept for the first limitation, because the skin of the cat, they can also secrete the protein X. So the protein X can still accumulate in the environment, and its amount can finally reach the critical level to trigger the unwanted immune response, which is the allergy. So let's talk about the curriculum mapping. This question starts from allergy, and it checks the concept about the specific defense mechanism and the scientific investigation. So for the specific defense mechanism, surely we talk about the antibodies and also the function. And I would like to spend more time on talking about the scientific investigation. So the three variables, are you familiar with them? IV, DV, CV. So in this research, what are the IV, DV, and CVs? IV, I tell you, it is the type of the food, normal food and the food with the anti-X. So what is the DV? Leave your answer in the comment section. And for the CV, apart from the types of cats, size of cats, and age of cats, so any more CV. So you can also share your opinion in the comment section. And in this question, so I give you the conclusion first, and then I want you to use the data to back up the conclusion. So maybe next time the question variation is that I want you to analyze the data and then draw the conclusion for me. So it's also the time for the strict to the point examination skills. And the question also asks you to modify the experiment. In the past, there are a lot of questions to ask to modify or design the experiment. In this part, we talk about the duration, the amount of the chemicals, the nature of the chemicals, testing methods. For example, in the junior form, we talk about the acid and alkalis. We learned that we can use the pH paper or the pH indicator to check the pH value of the chemicals. For example, the hydrochloric acid or the sodium hydroxide. And what if we use the pH paper or the universal indicator to check the pH value of the Coca-Cola or the soy sauce? It do not help at all. Because the Coca-Cola, they are dark in color, we cannot see the color change, or we cannot even see the color of the pH paper or the pH indicator. Therefore, we need to change another testing method. For example, we use the pH meter, because they can really give you the pH value 7.22, 8.91, something like this. We can see the number directly rather than the color change. And the sampling size, we use 10 cats, 100 cats, 1000 cats to reduce the sampling size. Also, we can change the test subjects. Please watch the video for the revision of the SBA questions.